SUPERHOT is perhaps one of the most innovative first-person shooters of recent days. I don't know how, but cleverly, the developers have captured exactly how time operates when you're doing an important exam. At first, you have all the time in the world. You read through the question, you look at the clock, everything is fine. But the moment you pick up your pen, everything speeds up, and before you know it, you've got a C, and you're in your late 20s making bad YouTube game review videos.
SUPERHOT.
Fortunately, unlike real life, there's actual enjoyable gameplay. Things run smooth, mechanics are sharp, and there's nothing quite like picking up a gun off an enemy you've just twatted and then shooting them in the face with it. Now, part of me did wish that this game had more realistic graphics, in that they've gone for that more indie, abstract style. But let's face it, if this game did have realistic or photorealistic graphics, then it would be probably one of the most disturbing games ever made. The minimal style also has the advantage of making the gameplay a lot more clear and a lot less likely that you'll be surprised by enemies. That said, it is very much like dropping a bar of soap in a prison shower. The enemies do come from behind, and they will come strong, fast and hard, so you have to bear that in mind whilst you're playing the game, and no amount of visual design, it seems, will compensate for that. Now, in terms of actual content, the game comes with a 2 hour or so single player, depending on your intellectual capacity. We're sort of around mid-spectrum intellectual capacity, and it took us 2 hours. And to be honest, the story was well delivered, easy to follow, a little bit indie, a little bit gimmicky, but it was nice, and it worked well with the art style, and certainly motivated us to get through some of the more frustrating moments. With the single player being so short, you might think, well, I'm not really getting value for money from this title. But once you complete the single player, you unlock different game modes, infinite modes, and more sort of arcadey modes that actually do offer a lot of replayability and justify you loading up the game and spending more time with it. And to be honest, they could have released the game without the single player, but really the single player just introduces you to the mechanics in a really nice way. And is just an enjoyable way to play the game before you get onto the complete hardcore time wasting of the infinite modes. Now, we are being careful to not do any spoilers of the single player in this, so we're not going to really talk about the specific levels or what happens in the story. But suffice to say, the mechanics are really nice and solid. There's a few times where you accidentally shoot walls and bullets don't seem to go quite where you wanted them to, and on our end the aiming felt a little bit smooth, as if there was some kind of mouse acceleration applied. But because this game is partially a puzzle game rather than it being a raw action first-person shooter, that's not as much of an issue as it would be if it was something like Quake 3 Arena. In general though, I can't think of another game that's as satisfying to interact with as this. Just picking objects up and throwing them at people, causing them to lose their gun, and then grabbing their gun from the air and shooting them in the face with it is so satisfying. You can do things like intercept bullets by throwing objects at them, or pick up swords and cut people in half, which all goes together with the situations that are constructed to basically make you feel like Neo, fully in control of the Matrix. And it's absolutely fantastic. A really visceral, punchy feel to successfully disarming, killing and winning levels. Now, interestingly, and the reason why we originally bought this game is that SUPERHOT was going to be a VR title. We backed it on the Kickstarter with the intention of it being a game to play with the Oculus Rift DK2. That obviously didn't happen, but the developer has recently announced that they are going to do a VR version, and I would assume they're going to be doing it with the motion controllers, with either the touch controllers with the Oculus Rift consumer version or the hand controllers for the HTC Vive. And although I could see this working fantastic in VR, you can definitely see that they've taken a really good approach with the current version of the game, with mechanics that might not have worked in VR. So really, if they include the VR version on top of the standard version, all in the same package at a later date, then I don't think anyone can complain. And it's going to be really exciting to pick this game up again in the future and get that additional replayability of it. And there's certain things in it, like the bullets whizzing past you, the way enemies explode, and the minimal environments that I think will just look absolutely stunning with the consumer Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive. So all in all, as I say, it's one of the better and more innovative games that I've played in recent times, and definitely worth getting. So check it out on Steam. I'll put a link in the video description. Make sure you tell your friends about it, and I hope you enjoy this video review. If you did, you know what to do. Click the subscribe button, like the video and all that business, and I'll see you soon. Super hot. Goodbye.